All right, I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
We're talking about North Korean craft paper.
Well, we're not because we're fairly certain it doesn't exist.
Right.
Like that. That's where their tech is. Just like vertical lines haven't happened yet.
They got college little paper,
Stuck
but
in a
you know, they,
it's not even college. Really. Fucking things are a half inch.
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that movie was dumb. So I was watching. What did we decide what it was called?
I can't remember. I mean,
The White
it's
House has fallen, or
something has
something like
fallen,
that.
if I
Yeah,
recall. Yeah, but
Washington or something.
it could
The
be,
president has fallen. I have no idea.
or it could be the White House fallen.
I don't know.
I
I
don't know,
didn't.
but
I didn't
it's
see the title card on it, so I just like I don't know what possessed me, but the last day, today and yesterday, I've been watching normie TV.
how
So
did that go?
I don't know. It's fine, man. I just turned on the YouTube TVs and just let the fucking TBS rip, just, just to see what would come up, man. And lo and behold, I started getting bad mid 2000s action movies.
I don't. I seem to recall that being kind of like a dark time for films. I mean that in terms of
Well, I mean, there's a shitload of Marvel stuff at that time, and
not until
the
2008.
yeah, okay, I think
Well,
this was
that's not
oh
true.
09, oh 10.
That's not true.
Yeah.
There's like the stuff before the official Marvel stuff was out. So
Yeah, I
those
remember
X
the
Men
old
movies
Spider-Man
and
and
Spider Man
stuff. Yeah.
movies. Yeah, yeah,
It was just pretparticularly thin. Because
yeah.
wasn't 300 like his first big movie, Gerard Butler? I think it was.
I think that was his breakout movie. I
Right.
think he had a big role before then, but it was in something that like critics saw and nobody else would have.
Okay, fine.
I remember like when they said it, and I was like, okay, I remember that title, but it was something I definitely wouldn't have watched.
Yeah, I can't unsee him in any movie as like fucking super ripped dude in a codpiece. So
Nope.
it's like I mean, you can take off his clothes, his like shirt in this London Has Fallen movie or whatever
Yeah.
it is. It's like I know what's underneath there, man. So it's spray tan and and a fucking codpiece, you know.
I think at times that was true, and I saw this. I think it was him. I saw this movie where like he was the only guy who could like fix a weather satellite.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I don't know, but
I don't
yeah,
remember. It was just
I just let it rip, man, because I got back from a little trip and fucking, YouTube was just mad this weekend. So I was like, no, I don't want to watch YouTube. I'm going to go watch something
no. That's
else.
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
And how'd the trip go?
it was fun.
Well,
Yeah. Um, yeah, it was fun. Business and stuff. So,
yeah.
but yeah, like I was unplugged from the news all week, which was great. And then YouTube was just jamming all this shit down my throat because it's like, where have you been, Pat?
It's
So
a fair question. There is stuff that has been going on.
yeah,
This is true.
I guess I just don't give a fuck. I decided to start watching TBS. Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry, man. It was just too much stuff
Uh,
for me to ingest. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to eat all this.
no, you're right. I mean, well, because either you were watching it from the start or you weren't,
I was not.
right?
So by the time
So
it came around to me, it was like, what
yeah.
the fuck is all? Nah, never mind. I'm good. So
It's like when there's this piece of like hot office gossip going around there, and you got there in the middle of the day, and you don't know
right,
how it started,
yeah.
you don't know how it's going to end, and it's just you can do the research.
No, I
That's
can't
up to
be
you. Yeah,
bothered with it right
yeah.
now. Yeah. So I was watching garbage action movies instead.
That's-
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's probably quite a few out there that I haven't seen the last 10
yeah.
years.
So
So
there's no wrong way to spend an afternoon, man. So
no, but it did put me to sleep.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's that would be your IMDb rating.
Well, I mean, it wasn't so bad where I changed the channel before I fell asleep.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
See, I think the scale here, and I think it's fair, is just to look at something and say, all right, we're going to rate this on a scale of how many times did I check my phone? Um,
Right.
did I fall asleep?
Yeah. Can I take a 20-minute nap and not
Yeah,
really miss any plot?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That and it's just like garbage TV. So I did scroll through like all the terrible TV that you probably used to transcribe. Um,
What, like Real Housewives shit?
no, I didn't see any of that on. Well, I mean, I scrolled right past that.
Yeah,
That's not fun.
I did a ton of those.
Did you?
Yeah,
Because there's like 9 different iterations of that show.
it's fucking dumb.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
It's fucking stupid people saying stupid things.
Well, and there's a lot of that. So I did watch a little bit of like what was it, the paranormal researcher stuff
Oh, okay,
on the
okay.
sci-fi, and it was like, ooh,
Like
yeah.
Ghost Adventures? Were you watching that?
I was not watching Ghost Adventures.
All right,
I probably didn't find that
all right.
because that was the one that was after Ghost Hunters, right?
Um, if that's the one with Zach Baggins,
Yeah.
I thought it was Ghost Adventures, but it could be Hunters. But
No, Ghost Hunters is the one with the two plumbers.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Where he's moving the lamp with his hand.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Um, so no, this was paranormal phenomenon or something like that. I have no idea. So I watched maybe like 2 or 3 of those, and
Yeah.
this is while I'm like playing video games too. So
Yeah, okay, all right.
it's like kind of thing. And then I moved on to like Discovery was just binging out Naked and Afraid today, and I hate that show. So I don't know what it is. They get the douchiest people on that show. Did you ever have to transcribe that one?
All the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
all the
So
time.
is that kind of what they do? They try and find some douchebag, you know,
Well,
Mr. Survival Man, you know,
okay, so
who's like crying in day 3.
okay, so here's the tricky one with that. I watched that show like that was a Rig favorite.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was fucking dumb, but that was always something that the guys wanted to watch, right? And I guess part of that had to do with there was some kind of, I guess it sort of tangentially sort of relates to hunting in a way.
Well, they do kill like wild animals in it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do, but I mean it's it's really bad because it's not just the casting, and yes, you're right. They do cast this, for purpose. They're always trying to cast personalities that are going to create television, right? If
Right.
you So yes, you're going to see this kind of they deliberately choose these losers, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're necessarily losers. It just seems like absolute, like, I mean, plants.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, okay, so this guy was a former Green Beret, blah blah blah.
yeah, yeah,
And they're gonna pair him up with this fucking hippy dippy chick. It's like, okay, it's
yeah.
gonna work out great.
That's exactly
And
the
then it
point.
turns out that he's actually a loser. And she actually knows how to bake or something. Like,
Right,
you know.
right.
And so I watched like 2 of those today. I was like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah,
Because
and
they're like an hour long,
they
too,
are
man.
like an hour
Yeah.
long, and yeah, and they had so many specials. They had so many where it was like teams and things like that, and I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess I can understand. I understand the appeal of it as long as you think it's real. That's the problem.
Man, I don't know how you could think that's actually real now.
Dude, I got hoodwinked by all that shit back then. I used to think
Yeah,
that
but
was
this is way after Bear Grylls, man.
oh no,
This is way after
no,
that.
this is
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to know. Like, it's like, well, they're not going to let them starve to death.
that would be the show. That
But they're not going to do it, and you know that.
I know that now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I could.
I don't think there was ever a point in time, even like the very first season of Survivor. I was like, nobody's gonna die on this show. They're not gonna air somebody dying.
We thought they would
I didn't.
when they just announced the concept of the show.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we thought.
I certainly didn't.
Remember, we didn't think it was a fucking elimination game show. We thought it was just basically Lord of the Flies, right?
I get, but I didn't think anybody was gonna die.
I think she's trying to get past you.
I don't know about that, man.
Oh,
I think I'm trying to get the butt end of the dog.
oh, okay. Yeah, I remember a lot of people at that time. They thought it was going to be like Lord of the Flies, and it turned into this. It turned into the kind of dramatic elements that it has, and
Yeah.
it was severely disappointing for me because I wanted, hardcore survival. And I will say this, if I will say at this point, if say people on the internet tried it, I would believe that that is real.
Yeah, maybe. I'm
I
surprised. I
could.
bet you somebody's tried that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bet you somebody's
yeah.
tried that.
And if I wasn't busy or I decided to watch that, yeah, I'd be convinced it was real and I'd check in on it. But that being said, I also know the problems that come along with television on this. Right? Is the people that they get are so ridiculously phony, and that's not to say that
Yeah, yeah.
that the dude you were seeing today, he may be a real Green Beret.
Oh, he may
right?
very well be. Yeah.
Right? In fact, he probably is.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're going to pull from like 250 of these to find the person with a personality that's going to be something for TV.
Oh, I'm sure they have no lack of applicants. So
That's correct.
yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons that, and the other thing is casting directors. Look, I'm going to say it. They're women and gay dudes. And they are they go for flamboyant personalities because they think that actually sells. And like,
Well, in that environment, it kind of does.
well,
Yeah.
no, here's there are shows that like again the I would constantly be hearing like the producers doing interviews and behind the scenes and stuff, and that's the stuff I was writing. They're doing the
Yeah,
interviews
yeah.
and stuff, and like constantly, and that's why they like if you watched like the Hell's Kitchen type shows, all these things. That's why they were sort of like constantly seated with tons and tons of gay people, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
No, I'm not surprised by that at all.
and
So,
it's because to them that creates drama,
well, I mean, for a while, it kind of did. So,
right?
but they just got oversold after a bit.
Right.
So,
Right.
because I remember watching shows like Queer Eye and stuff. It was a great show. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then then everything was like that. It's kind of like, okay. So,
And now, yeah, and then I was always wrong on dudes who I thought were gay. I was like, are these property guys gay? The brothers, they're not.
no, they're not. Yeah, no, they're not. Yeah, no. And now they're crooked as fuck, but yeah,
They're crooked.
they are crooked.
Oh,
Yeah, I've heard that. So they got sued a couple times for like shit workmanship, and apparently you have to put up a certain amount of money to get them to work on your house.
oh, okay, yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
you know. And then they operate in very few markets, so mostly in Canada. Um,
Yeah, that's the same thing.
they had
Yeah,
to they had to stop doing that because people were like $850,000 for a fucking house, and this fucking townhouse that you wouldn't pay more than probably like 100 grand for in here.
yeah,
Oh yeah, but it's in Toronto. So they had to get away from that a little bit because people were like, "What? How do you afford that?" You know. So,
yeah, and a lot of the like contestants are all people that people just know. They're
oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's the ones where they're trying to play this off like we're trying to do this favor. It's like no, you guys actually just know these
Yeah, you
people.
just know these guys. They go to your
It's
church and stuff.
production. Well, to go to your church. No, it's just production friendly. It's
Right,
so
right.
no, it's not going to be litigious. They can check it out and know that they'll play ball. It's really it's so inauthentic that
Mhm.
it's like it's boring to me because like in that regard if these people were actually like selected at random, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then if you saw these characters pop up, they would seem flamboyant. They would seem exciting. They would seem
Yeah.
out of the ordinary.
Well, you just have to watch The Price is Right to get that. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
mean, you can get on that show just by buying a ticket to the studio
Yeah.
audience. So, I mean, and it is full of like just normie Americans every single time I watch it.
Yeah, I don't think Price is Right is salted at all. I think you actually can you can get in there.
That's
Go hard.
exactly how it
Yeah.
works. If you
Yeah.
show up and if you're however big the studio audience, this is why you never see an empty studio audience there. This is a show that runs, well, so they have their taping days where they'll tape like fucking six episodes a day. So, but then you can go to their website and it'll tell you which days to show up. And if you get, and if you get in line, you can get in the audience. So, and you can be there for multiple shows in the audience.
You can. And the other thing that people always forget about these kind of things is the audience they show you on camera. That is a camera trick. The actual audience is way smaller than you think it is.
What, in Price is Right?
All those shows. All those shows. Yeah.
I don't know about Price is Right, but I know that's true with like Jeopardy because what was it? I saw a show on that once. So there's only like 25 people in the audience or something like that.
Most places are bigger than like 25, but like in the same way that if you go and do like the Tonight Show or stuff like this,
it was way smaller. Yeah,
way smaller. Same thing with Price is Right, and I think
we saw that. You could go to that at what is it? Universal Studios Orlando.
Oh yeah.
You can go. You can. That's where they do the filming of. I think it was the Tonight Show, or it was Jimmy Kimmel. So if I'm not mistaken, so yeah, I didn't go, but they were actually taping while we were there, and it's like middle of the fucking day.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you could get in line and go sit in the studio audience, and they had a picture of it, and it's only like 50 people. So
yeah, it's wild. Yeah, and yeah, it does give a it sort of it's not right because yeah, when you go there and you look at the night thing, there is just something about that stupid backdrop. It's like, oh shit, it's like 11 o'clock.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's 8:30, man.
It's a crazy time to start your day, man. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, but the Price is Right one's a little bit different because that's the only one that you ever see that's lit. Does that make sense? Because they have Karen, come on down, and the camera pans around. So I think that one's probably the one that's probably the size as advertised. But any of the ones that are in the dark though, they're tiny. So.
No, I got you there. But what they'll do is the way that they'll frame it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, is that they will frame it and move it to make it look. They'll pan it in a certain way to make it look like the actual audience is.
Yeah,
it's like the size of like a baseball bleacher, but it's not.
No, it's not.
But you're right. Yeah, it's probably bigger than that. And I don't know if maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't. I doubt. I doubt Price is Right needs it. But did you ever see how they have like warm up acts for TV shows?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Because that's one of the.
Oh yeah, for like the Tonight Show and stuff.
Yeah,
they do.
Where they have people do like audience warm up and stuff like that. People do that for an entire career. They get paid. It's actually a pretty good gig. There's a dude that famously he would juggle.
Oh
yeah.
Well, that's what Ed McMahon used to do for the Tonight Show and Johnny Carson. He would actually bullshit with the audience for like half an hour before every show.
Yeah.
So to get them kind of like yeah.
And same thing goes. You would also those same people they pop in during commercials, and that's how they keep the audience moving.
Well, I mean, Price is Right famously had what was that guy's name? Rod White or whatever.
Yes,
the guy with the purple jacket.
Yeah.
I bet you he was their warm up guy.
Well, the actual voice of the show, right?
The actual voice of the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll watch. We'll go find some other TV to watch, I guess.
Well, it's sad. I mean, it's TV. It's recoiling. It's they don't know what to do with it. A lot of people are panicked. A lot of things are, it is in that as we described it. from nothing, the explosion happened, and now it is
Hmm.
imploding again.
Yeah,
Um,
I did notice that a bunch of the NBC stuff did come back to YouTube TV though.
did it?
Yeah, because there was a while there where there was no NBC. I think that was last year when the Olympics were on. And I
Oh
noticed
yeah,
that more so than anything else. I was like, there's not a fucking NBC channel on this thing. So, and then it had been that way for a little while. I just never watched any NBC based shows, so
yeah.
or channels, to tell you the truth. And
Do you
so I
care?
didn't. No, fuck no.
Yeah,
But they were all back today. Like
yeah.
today was the first day that I had logged into YouTube TV in probably a couple months. So,
Dude, it's wild. If you look at what basically like primetime TV is, you have one of two choices. It's either like variety shows, basically that singing talent, or
they've moved a lot of that shit from the afternoon block to the evening. I've noticed that.
yeah, it's that, or basically like hour-long crime shows.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
still a shitload of those.
Those are. It seems like those are your two shows, man. It's and to their credit, I
There's
think
still a lot of animated stuff too. I did
one on
notice
like
that.
Fox.
Fox,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
What
can't
else?
believe Family Guy is still going. So.
That contract goes back to when they came back.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's been renewed since then. I have no idea why it's still going. So.
Yeah, I saw. I haven't watched an episode recently. It must be at least 10 years, but it seems like there seems to be a kind of a backlash against it.
What, Family Guy?
Yeah,
Oh. I don't know. I haven't watched in a while. Sometimes it'll show up on my shorts feed.
yeah.
And it's just not that funny. Or there are ones that I've seen. I was like, that's 20 fucking years old. So,
There's that.
yeah.
Yeah, and it is. It's sort of like, oh, we've been through this before. It's like sort of watching when the tide turned on The Simpsons and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And it is what it is. Like it's there are certain things that you like as being staples of entertainment, but it's got to go. There are certain
Yeah,
things.
Futurama is done, isn't it?
They're
I
they're
think.
they're doing another season of it on
Oh,
Hulu.
okay.
They're bringing it
Oh,
back
on
for Hulu
Hulu.
as well as King of the Hill, and
I did hear about that. I don't know how I feel about that. That show is like distinctly 90s for me.
I think it had a brilliant run, and
Had a great run.
uh, it was one of the few, especially animated shows, that deliberately tried to age up its characters and have sort of a continuity.
Well, yeah,
Um,
they finally killed off his grandfather.
they
So,
did.
yeah.
Like Joseph was tiny when the show started, and he actually became uh, a tall, middle-aged,
Tall middle-aged
middle
weirdo.
middle teenager, lanky weirdo.
With a
Um,
weird mustache, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and so they did try to do that, and I absolutely respect that. And I guess as per the new show, they've aged it as though it's starting right now, and the
See, that's
characters
not
have aged
good.
up that much.
I mean, Hank Hill would be in his 80s, so at this point in time, or
Yeah,
maybe his like 70s.
I think he's
Yeah.
supposed to be like in his late 60s, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's definitely boomer material. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, his dad fought the dojos.
He most certainly did.
So,
And yeah, as for a show that actually it ended gracefully. It did exactly as much as it could do.
I don't remember how it ended.
The ending was
I know I watched them all. It's been a minute though.
it wasn't like a serious like wrap up like big weird
Mm-mm.
thing, but there were just a couple of things that they revealed at the end. Like they
Well,
revealed
Luann moved out, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because she had a baby.
well, she'd moved out a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But like they revealed a couple of things. Like um, uh, they revealed what Boomhauer's job was because they never said it in any other episode. They revealed that he was a cop. Um,
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think they revealed that um, Dale knew that his wife was cheating on him all along.
All along,
I
yeah.
think, if I remember,
With John
it's just-
Redcorn,
yeah,
who died recently. The voice actor died. Did you see
Yes, he
that?
did.
That was
He
weird
was
too,
a
man.
fucking psychopath, actually.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I was digging into the story a little bit, and I just got that hint from it. Was like, whoa, there's things here that are going unsaid, aren't there? Yeah.
There was a lot of shit that was as soon as that. So I was kind of new to that when that happened, and his partner, quote unquote, immediately started going to like Kickstarter to
Oh,
try and raise money after he was shot because it was homophobia, right? He said he was shot by a homophobe, right?
oh, okay.
Now that's not true. Um, this partner didn't know this. These people were a menace to the neighborhood. They burned down their own house and
I
started
did see that they had burned down their
because they weren't paying for electricity,
own. Okay,
and that's how they burned it down.
okay.
And yeah, they constant like total drug addicts, huge problem with that.
I
Yeah,
got that hint from
yeah,
just. I mean, there's sometimes where you can just see the contours of somebody's life, and
yep,
especially if they've had a mediocre of success at some point in time. It's like, wait a minute, you live where? And you do what?
yeah,
So, and you're still looking for work? Oh, okay,
yeah,
yeah. I think we kind of figured out what the problem is here.
yeah,
So, and you've seen that with several petty celebrities over the years. So,
yeah, and some that were perfectly normal, some that
sure.
were I don't want to say A-listers, but dudes that were completely within the realm of normal. Um, Randy Quaid, for
Randy
example,
Quaid's a good example. That guy is kind of a psychopath, though.
he is a
Yeah, he
psychopath.
is a psychopath.
James Woods, uh,
James Woods is also kind of a psychopath. So
he is.
he's been remarkably successful, though. But I mean,
He
he
has.
does have a bunch of crazy that just kind of follows him around, man. So
Well, it is weird. Of course, now I've seen some of James Woods's like crazier films.
mhm.
Um, like it is weird where you say like, dude, you were in Videodrome. It's like, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
how are you a hard right guy?
Oh.
But he. To his credit, I mean, this is the thing is there are people that are kind of like coming out of the woodwork now that were kind of like, listen, I was never on board with this shit from the beginning, right? Now that things have kind of peeled back a little bit, but James Woods was one of those guys from like day one. I can't remember what happened to him, but something happened that was weird, and he started tweeting some shit that
Mhm.
was um, I don't want to say it was hateful. It was hateful for Twitter at that time.
Not as bad as Kanye.
You didn't write a song about it.
Yeah. I don't follow James Woods, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've barely kept up with his career. I know that they had the whole thing with Family Guy for a little while. That's the last I've really heard of him. So
Oh, yeah. They had a falling out because they have differing ideologies.
no, I didn't even
Um,
know about that. I was just
oh, that
like
was it.
I thought it was he had been in several episodes because the high school was named after him. I thought.
Well, it was because he was in the show.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, all right,
yeah.
okay. That's the last sighting of him that I've had, really.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that much about him. Um, but I don't know. Like, does he have a drug? Did he have a drug problem?
I don't recall.
Oh,
It wouldn't surprise me.
okay.
But then again, you could tell me pretty much any celebrity, and there's a good chance that they had a run-in with.
Well, there's the ones who do and get clean, and there's the ones who never
Yeah.
do, and they wind up dead, or impoverished, and then on the TMZ or whatever.
See, and that
No,
that's another like tough one right there for King of the Hill is Brittany Murphy and Tom Petty are dead. So
Tom Petty is dead.
yeah,
Yeah, finally.
so yeah, so I mean, Luann and Lucky are both not with us. So
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be in the series because Luann wasn't. She was Hank's niece, right?
yes,
Yeah, okay. So I don't think you ever met her parents.
you did.
Okay, I don't remember that episode, but they weren't a regular in the episodes.
No, no, no. So you met her mother, and actually you met her father.
Okay.
he was the one where it was the state oil rig or the federal oil
Oh,
rig.
I thought that was Lucky.
No, Lucky's the one that knew the
Oh, you're
terminology.
right. Yeah, I do remember
That
that
was
one. Yeah,
Luann's dad.
you're right. I do
Yeah,
remember that episode now. Yeah, yeah, because Lucky asked him which one.
right. Because yeah, he was like, I was working on an oil rig. Wow. The state oil rig or the federal oil? Yeah, he was also the one that knew how to calculate cigarette math.
Right. Yeah.
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 Yeah, so you did meet her parents, and her mom showed up in one episode, and she was just completely total white trash.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your mom's white. Bad as hair.
Yeah, man. There's sort of I want to say let the sleeping dogs lie, but they just can't. They got to milk the properties, every property that they can. So
Yeah.
get what you can. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to burn through it all until you actually make something new. That's go nuts.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. It seems like there's no lack of content anywhere, you know. So I
No.
mean, there's not as many channels on the YouTube TV as there was probably a year ago,
Yeah.
but there's still probably a good 60 or 70 on there. So that are
Yeah.
all over the map, you know. And I mean, you know, yeah, a bunch of them are like public access channels, like Smithsonian Channel, National Geographic, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, PBS, C-SPAN, you know, stuff like that. But then, you know, you still have your Bravo and you still have, you know, Lifetime and, you know, Discovery, Sci-Fi, all the same ones that have been there for 20 years,
Yep.
you know, kind of thing. And so it just doesn't feel all that different. Um,
I
yeah,
guess. I mean, I guess there's a warmth to that.
I don't
I
know.
suppose there's something in the familiarity that feels nice. I suppose.
Yeah, I just got tired of auto recommend on YouTube this weekend. So I was like, fuck it, just turn something on, leave it on, you know, kind of thing.
I get it. I get it. And I guess I wasn't getting it from YouTube though. I guess it was more kind of Twitter was the news pump.
I
Was
can't get on Twitter right now, man. They're having arguments I don't even know anything about. So I'm not going to dig through somebody's feed to figure out what the fuck it is they're talking about now.
Patrick, I would ask you this. This is really the big issue right now.
Okay.
Right? One of the two big issues.
Okay.
Do you want the United States to be involved in a war between Israel and Iran?
No.
Okay, case closed. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm good.
Okay. Point number two.
Okay.
All right. If you have your ICE agents who are, basically, going out there to get people, right? It's their
Hmm.
job, right? Okay. If you're sending out agents to the field, federal agents to the field, and they're being attacked in the streets,
The attackers should be arrested.
right? But if the local cops are not arresting them,
Yeah.
what do you do?
I don't know in that case.
Is it okay at that point to send in federal agents to protect the federal agents?
Um, sure. Why not?
There's the other argument.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what California is suing for, to say that these can't be mobilized here.
Well, so like I know here in Colorado that there are many agencies in the state that will not participate in ICE raids
Right.
because they take a lot of fucking resources and they don't get reimbursed by the federal government for those things.
Yeah.
And so you have to call in a whole bunch of guys on overtime. And if Roscoe and Enos are like on their weekend, and Lulabelle's the only one manning the fort,
Yes. Yes.
you know, and they want you to go round up, 70 guys in the fields of Lahana.
Right.
Um, they're not going to do it. So
That I understand.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I know that particularly hits like rural communities more so than, I mean, Denver's got basically, I mean, you guys got cops, come on,
Right.
kind of thing. So if it's a political thing, it's a political thing.
Which is what it is, because ultimately here it's not a question of the if people are attacking the feds in your town, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing is, do your cops interfere when there are people breaking the law against the federal agents, even though you are a sanctuary city,
Yeah,
right?
they should. I
And
mean, yeah, I mean that's just you're not allowed to throw rocks at cops, Jeff.
it's that simple.
You're not allowed
Yes.
to throw rocks at
Right.
cops. If you do that, you're doing something that's illegal.
Yes.
So
And to me, that point is okay to go ahead and send in federal agents and zip tie everybody that's causing a fucking ruckus.
sure.
And that's sort of where that came from.
Yeah, that's fine.
Those are the two big things. And we also had a nationwide, what was it, June 14th, No King's Day
Yeah.
embarrassment of a protestation. It happened here.
Yeah, my wife was at it.
She was?
Yeah.
Did she like it?
She said there was nothing wrong with it.
No, she said that's the thing
Yeah.
is it was not.
No, her firm sponsored a booth at Pride Fest, and so she took my daughter,
Oh, okay.
and it
Yeah.
was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did face painting. there
That
was
is
there was a distinct lack of rock throwing and tear
that
gas.
is not the protest that they displayed on the Colorado Springs Reddit.
That is not a legit source.
That is not the story they told. They did not say that kids were getting their faces painted.
Yeah, it was not. It was not a big deal. She sent me pictures of it. It was fun.
Now, the pictures you saw.
They left. They
How
left.
how many people did you think there were there from the pictures?
Oh, probably a couple thousand.
Okay.
So yeah, it was about 6 blocks, all on the Nevada side.
They claim it was 20,000 people.
I don't think it would be that much, but it could have been like the pictures that she showed me. I can show them to you later.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty sizable crowd. It was bigger than any of the BLM ones that I've seen.
Right.
So because that was usually just 10, 15 guys with signs. I mean, there was like a couple times where maybe got a crowd of a couple hundreds, but they couldn't even cover the steps of the city hall. And so,
Right.
whereas yesterday they did actually, I mean, they had all the permits and stuff, and they had it all blocked off, and yada yada yada. But it was a pretty big deal. So I mean, it wasn't like half the fucking city. I mean, basically, it was probably, and my wife said that yeah, the crowd was considerably older.
That's the story.
Yeah, she said
Yeah,
there was a
this
lot of gray hairs there.
This is some boomer ass shit. Is evidently the story with these.
And then, but it was separate from the Pride Fest too, so which was something.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that may be part of it, because those two things were not together.
Well, they were only a block apart.
Right.
So one was on Nevada, the other one was on Tejon. So there was a lot of people going back and forth between the two.
Okay, but those are two separate things.
I suppose, I mean, why would you plan it on the same day? I guess. I don't know.
Well, this is the entire month.
What?
The Pride Month is this entire month.
But there's only one day where they actually do like a little, like booth get together thing, downtown.
Oh no,
That's
no,
just one day.
I got you there. But this was supposedly an organic thing put together on the spot.
That's totally not true. It's been planned for months. Yeah, I mean, it's been planned. She's known about it for months that she was going to this thing.
The Pride Fest.
Yeah.
Not the protest.
No.
Right. The protest
Yeah.
was supposedly planned on the spot as a result from Trump sending in the National Guard to Los Angeles, which happened about 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Or 4 days ago.
I thought that they were planning something like this a couple weeks ago. So I don't know.
Not to my knowledge.
I don't know either, man. I don't pay attention to it. So
that's supposed to be the story.
Okay. Well, fine. It's spontaneous then. Whatever.
I don't believe it, but this is
I don't really believe that.
I don't think this is going to move the needle either. So it's
No.
It is what it is.
I do know a lot of guys who were pissed about Trump's military parade, though. So they were not happy about that. And these are pretty diehard military guys. So, yeah.
Why? I don't get it. This was for his birthday?
No, it was the Army's 250th birthday, which
Right.
happened to
That
fall
I
on
knew.
his fucking birthday.
Yeah.
So, but they've never done anything like that before. So,
Okay.
they didn't celebrate our 100th birthday, their 150th birthday, or 200th birthday.
Right.
And so all of a sudden we have to have a 250th birthday party,
Mhm.
kind of thing where we roll tanks down DC. And that's only happened a few times. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
one was the grand review of the Army of the Republic after Lee surrendered at Appomattox. I think that's pretty legit.
That was that was at least a couple of weeks ago,
It
right?
was a little while ago, and it meant a little bit more to people.
Was that was that before or after the seas drank Atlantis?
That was about the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and then the other one was, so they had the other one that was when the Doughboys came back from World War I. And then that later
Yeah.
that turned into like a protest because they weren't getting their veterans benefit, and MacArthur actually sent in the National Guard to shoot the veterans. So
The Bonus Army March.
the Bonus Army
Yes.
March.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so ever since then, it's been kind of like, we don't do that. Like even after World War II, they didn't have a big parade. So, and that's a pretty big fucking deal too. Now, a lot of towns had their own parade.
Yes. They
So you
did.
had like a
Yeah.
ticker tape parade in New York and stuff like that, but DC did not have anything like that. And then the same thing's true. Like whenever someone comes back from a war, because like I know, I don't know if like they did that during Vietnam because there wasn't really a victory, but I know my dad marched in a Gulf War parade downtown. It was a victory parade,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you do that on a local level. You never do it on the national level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually went to the yacht club today and caught a whole bunch of earfuls about how pissed off some people were about that, and I did not expect that. So
It was weird to me. I just it.
to be fair, these guys are not libs. Okay, so they're not
No, no, no.
yeah.
I totally understand that. That's where, of all things, I mean, it got so lost in the shuffle of everything else that was going on.
Well, the Israel thing's a big fucking deal.
It kind of
So
is.
it kind
Yeah.
of is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an actual war. They started an actual war. Yeah.
Now there's no troop shooting.
Well, just wait.
Right. No, I got you there.
Just wait.
Um, but there's a lot of volleying.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. As long as we don't get involved in it, it's fine. I don't care. So,
That's sort of where I'm at. This is
yeah. And if Joe Biden was president, we'd be involved. So,
you think so?
I do. I absolutely do. So, the dude was very much so supportive of Israel, and
It
yeah,
was. It
yeah,
was.
we would not be. You understand that Trump and Netanyahu don't exactly get along. So,
I think
they're not as simpatico as people like to make them
I
out to
think
be.
they like to think they are.
I think they both hate each other's guts.
You
So,
think so?
yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, Trump was just in the neighborhood, and he didn't even go to Israel. He went to Saudi Arabia. Come on, man. It's like if you're around, like it's like, hey, I thought we were getting a band back together, man. It was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I was in Jersey last week. What the fuck, man? Why did you look me up? You know?
Actually, yeah. Was Saudi the trip where they rolled out the mobile McDonald's?
I don't know. There's a
Yeah,
mobile McDonald's.
there most certainly is.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of neat.
This I remember one place for his trip. They had a mobile McDonald's.
So he could fix his Mac attack.
It would be fixed for him. Yes,
Got it.
it would be
Right.
prepared for him. But yes,
Okay. That sounds like something the Saudis would do.
bro,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like fucking eat something else. I'm sorry. Like I get it.
Dude, he's 80 years old. He can
I
eat what the fuck he wants. I
I
don't
know,
care.
I know.
I
But
do
if
not
you're
care.
there, yeah, I get it. If it's you can get a burger somewhere else in the Middle East.
Yeah. Well, they do that just. I mean, I don't. Well, okay, fine. I don't know the story. My guess
It
is
was
that
done as a grand gesture. It was
exactly.
like
it was
yes,
it was
yes,
done for him. It
yes.
wasn't
It
something. He's like,
absolutely
I'm
was.
not going to
I
eat unless I get
demand.
a fucking 6-piece chicken nugget,
I don't know.
So, yeah, and a diet coke.
You know what would be gross? You know how they make like freezer White Castles?
Yeah,
If they made like freezer,
Big Macs.
yeah,
They'd be
I
pretty
think they'd
gross.
be awful.
I think they'd be terrible.
And as we've discussed, McNuggies do not keep. Those would be bad
Those would be bad as
if
well.
they were
You got to
frozen.
eat all of those immediately.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I mean, the White Castle thing I can see because there aren't as many of those.
No,
You
and
can
there's
find a McDonald's anywhere. You cannot find a White Castle anywhere. So,
well, White Castle says have very limited ingredients.
yeah,
It's that little burger, some onions.
a shitload of onions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the buns.
Yeah. Well, cheese.
You get cheese.
Get cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah. So you missed out on all that stuff. It doesn't sound like you really, heard about it. Well, actually, no. There was one other thing. There was that fucking assassination in
I did see something
Minnesota,
about that
and that's
today.
fucking bonkers.
I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna need like the weekend update on that one because I poked my finger in a Twitter today. I was like, nope, I'm done. It's like I need to get my story. That's it. It just doesn't work for me on Twitter, man. Because I mean, I follow the local news channels on there,
Yeah.
and they'll still put up stories and things like that.
Yeah.
But they're not as fast as like the guys, out there. But
That's correct.
you're always going to get a spin with those guys, and I'm just fucking sick of it. So I can't navigate. I don't have time to navigate that shit. To figure out who's trying to sell me what on it anymore.
You're correct. I mean, it is. There's no version of it that does a great job aggregating it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
You can. Well, actually, that's not true. You can get a good overview of this, but it is post mortem. It is. It is. You have to wait.
yeah,
At least 24 hours.
yeah.
For some of the dust to settle.
And
But
so, see, this is why I don't think that you're actually going to kill off your 24-hour cable news networks because they actually do that really well.
They do that better. They don't do it really well.
I would say they do it better than just about any other form of media out there because you can't get that in podcast form. You can't get it in YouTube form. I haven't looked at Twitch to see if there's a guy who streams news. I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, like that guy's going to have his bent on it too, man. I just, yeah.
Well, no. Imagine. I mean, this is the thing about this kind of stuff when it comes to presenting it, right? And I understand that people want it essentially filtered through whatever they want to see it, right?
Right.
But that would be like if you were listening to a live broadcast of the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
And the announcer interpreted what was going on the field and assigned points to it to both teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that one side actually said the Broncos won 61-3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's people would believe it because that's what they heard.
Right.
And that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what most podcasters would do in that situation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's still something about the news. If there's actually some big fucking shit going on, you can turn on Fox News or CNN or whatever, and you're getting pretty unvarnished but pretty clean feed. So they only get to editorializing really when there's like
Downtime.
yeah, when there's dead time, and stuff like that. But if you have something actually going on, then you get a pretty clean, unvarnished feed from that. And if you don't like one little particular asset, you just flip to a different channel, and you're getting about 99% of the same thing. At that point in time, it's only when we get to the panel of 5 fucking talking heads does it start to get different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
No, it's there, and as long as there is cable television, there'll be cable news.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That's part of it. I think it's a tradition, even if it gets to a point where they're all completely like lost leaders, then it'll still be part of it.
I think they're all currently loss leaders, so I'd be surprised if CNN makes any money at all. So
I don't think they are.
I don't think so either, man. Yeah. So, I mean, like, judging by the amount of the length of the commercial blocks that I was watching today between movies, There's not a lot of TV shows that are making a lot of money, man. So
Why would they though? I
I
mean,
don't
this
know.
is this is the tough thing is, wow.
Man, I'm telling you, like I hadn't watched TV in a little while. Just watching normie TV today on TNT or TBS, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay, you have like 9 commercial blocks, so where you're literally taking like 4 to 6 minutes off the screen. So it's just for ads, ad, and they're all short. So you don't have these 60-second ads anymore.
Right.
So yeah, you have like 15 or 30-second ads. So
Well, and even the shows that you like have been sped up by, I remember they said it was like 4%,
yeah,
right? To the point where most people don't notice, but it saves enough time for one more ad.
well, they're just playing them faster.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, they play it at a small fraction of a
Yeah.
percentage faster so that most people don't
So
notice.
you can eke out one more ad
One more
in an
ad.
hour-long
Yes.
block. That's hilarious.
A 30
So,
minute block.
oh, the 30-minute
Yes.
block. Okay. Well, that's
Yes.
two in an hour. So,
That's correct.
yeah. Okay.
That's money.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
It's not my deal. You know, it's
I was honestly looking for baseball games today, man. I think if I switch over to Comcast here, I'm going to get the MLB package. So I know that there's always baseball on.
if that's what you want to watch, then I mean,
It kind of is. And you know what? I've used the MLB app, but the problem is I have to do it on my computer. I don't like that, Jeff. I want it on
you
my
don't have to.
I
You can
want it
do
on
it
my
on your
TV.
TV.
Yeah, I can cast it to my TV. So, but it doesn't work terribly well. And I still have to have it up on my computer in order
Right.
to do that.
Well,
So,
I mean, it depends. I mean, you also like if you have like your Xbox plugged into it, you can just use the MLB app on there.
I don't have an Xbox anymore.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, my Xbox One gave up the ghost.
okay.
So, I mean, I still have it, but some fried it.
It's fried.
I don't know, man. I mean, I could probably get it repaired, but
Well, it's fried.
I don't
Nothing
know.
much you can do.
I don't know how fried it is. It won't turn
No,
on. So,
let's.
yeah.
Um, but
I
yeah,
got a
so
game
that's
stuck in
tough.
there. I can't get out. So,
Well,
I guess I don't give a fuck.
what are you gonna do? I mean,
I know, yeah.
if it's broken, you can get the game, but it just depends on. Right.
Get the jaws of life out of
Right. Right.
it. Yeah.
We'll go through your toolbox. We'll find something to get this thing opened up.
Oh, I've got plenty of tools. The question is power or regular? You know.
Well, are we going in as basically like surgeons or demolition? Because I believe that we could.
Demolition.
All right. Because I think if you wanted to, we could basically disassemble this thing with a beauty, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you care.
No, I don't care. Yeah.
And also, recovering a game from a system that you're not playing or is broken is sort of a fool's errand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is my 360 still works fine.
That's what I'm saying. You can
Yeah.
watch the MLB app on that
I
too.
could watch the MLB.
Yes. That's how I used to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna get the other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the MLB app is okay, but you do get blackout on certain markets.
This
so
one. Yes.
well, this one and any like top tier markets, well, they'll actually black out those games too if they're being played on ESPN or something.
Oh, yeah.
So
But that didn't happen very often. It really didn't. Because all the,
every time the Sox play the Yankees, it does. So,
no way. Because that was, those were always broadcast on Yes.
well, either that you had to get the Yes Network separate, for years in order to actually be able to get all those games.
Right.
So, but the last, well, actually, no, the last,
But that would show on the MLB app because,
well, it shows on the app. You just can't get it to stream.
yeah, you can.
I couldn't the other night when I was
Huh.
sitting there watching Yankees
Huh.
Red Sox.
Oh.
I could get the little dude, who's swinging the bat.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
No, that's not what I want, man.
That's not.
I could not get the feed. So yeah. And they said it was because it was on it's live on ESPN
Okay.
at that time. So,
Well, if it was on ESPN, there's nothing you could do. Yeah, it's subject to stupid blackout. So, but they don't. I mean, ESPN doesn't show a whole lot of baseball. At least they didn't.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but it's that time of year where there's not much else going on, so
Well,
you
you know
start to
what?
snap some.
That's true. Actually, Yankees Red Sox is kind of the big game of the
Yeah,
yeah
there's a few of them that are like that. So Yankees, Red Sox. I'd say Dodgers, Giants too.
Cubs.
So Cubs. Yeah, well, it depends on who they play, but yeah, if they play any of the top tier teams, then
Yeah,
yeah, you'll see them on ESPN.
like Cubs, St. Louis. You'll see that.
Yeah, that's true. So we won't see the Rockies.
No, and you know it doesn't really fucking matter if they're blacked out on the MLB app right now because you wouldn't be watching the fuckers anyway.
Oh, I would, but yeah, I'd just be rooting for the other team.
You would not waste your time. And well, okay, you might let it play in the background.
Oh, absolutely.
You would not actively watch that shit.
I only actively watch baseball games that I'm at.
There you
So
go. All
yeah.
right. All
So
right.
otherwise, it is background noise that I am paying attention to the level of about 50%.
Well, okay. Well, I will say that when when playoff time does come around, I will actively watch baseball.
Yeah,
Um, and I will get into it.
yeah.
But if it doesn't, I mean, if it doesn't have stakes, it does get a little bit like there's a lot of these
There's a ton of
every
them.
week.
Yeah,
So
there's a ton of
uh,
them. No, and stakes don't really kick in for at least 2 more months.
yeah,
So well, I mean, it depends on like how bad or good your season is.
pretty bad.
Ours is terrible.
It's pretty bad.
There is no way we're
It's
getting.
like record breakingly bad.
Yeah, we're not even remotely in playoff contention. I don't think it's possible for us to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's weird to be eliminated by mid June. Like statistically eliminated by mid June. We should actually pull up the MLB thing and see if there's an X by our name. Or like a
Yeah, already. Yeah. It's a little frowny face. Yeah. The guy with his tongue sticking out two X's for eyeballs. Yeah.
no, what is it? No, that's not right because it's it would be the E. That's right because it's
Yeah.
X for clinched playoff berth, Y for clinched
I
division.
have to read the legend every time.
But you know what I'm talking about because I think it's X. Yeah, because I think it's X for clinched playoffs, Y for clinched division. Dog, come here. Dog. Right.
I don't think she wants out, man.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. She's just being cool.
All right, beautiful. All right. But yeah, and I think it's. Oh wait, no, there's a Z too. I forget what the Z is for. William Adele.
Clinched home field. So
I think that's it. Yeah.
yeah.
And then there's eliminated, which is when you're done, you're done.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we got one already. So
It's
maybe.
pathetic.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So that's okay. I'm still going to a couple more games this year. So
No, that's fantastic.
yeah, no, man, I love going to baseball games.
Yeah.
Get my peanuts, make my little mess, my nest.
Dude, you got a little tradition going on. I like it. I like it. I think that's how you have a fun time, man.
Mhm.
I just remember just constantly going up with the guys who were just constantly trying to save every little last nickel and
I don't even bother, man. I mean, I'll go up there. I'll plan on spending about $30, $30 to $40
yeah.
on food or beer, because like a beer there, like if you get one of the tall boys, those are like $14. Okay,
Yeah.
two of those will get you through a baseball game. So that's $28 right there, and then you get like a $7 bag of peanuts. And then you can get like a $6 or $7 hot dog, and so you're out of there about $40. So
Yeah.
So, but that's a good time, man. And I mean that's all your baseball, staples right there. Beer, peanuts, hot dog if you want one.
Sure.
So yeah, that of course Field actually had pretty good hot dogs. So.
They do. They do. I've had them many times, but yeah, that was always the thing, and it was always like trying to smuggle in food, and you'd have you because if you're outside the stadium, you will find a couple of dudes out there selling bags of peanuts in like Ziploc bags.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they'll sell them to you for a couple of bucks.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was buy some of those, smuggle them in.
Yeah.
Like that's not how the ballpark stays open. But that's not really the concern here, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a cheap experience. It's not
No,
like it's not
no.
like it used to be with, having a AAA team over here. $2 Tuesdays, you could get drunk, great parking, eat yourself stupid for like less than $50.
Have a good
And
time.
that's
Yeah,
for like four
yeah,
of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
You have a great time. The stadium had a good sense of humor about
The
itself.
stadium did have a
Um,
good. You know what? The one thing that I miss about that stadium is there was no seat in that stadium where you get sun scorched. So
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
so Coors has got a little bit of a problem. If you sit on the first base line, you're going to eat it as far as the sun goes, and I just cannot tolerate that anymore. So like even during this trip, I spent like a couple hours out in the sun, and I was like, "Fuck this, man! I feel sick." You know, just can't do it anymore, man.
I saw this. Uh, I saw this little video
Mhm.
where there's this guy and he's in the sun and he's saying, he's talking about um, what sunscreen has in it, and he says why it that shit actually damages your skin.
Sunscreen does?
Yes,
Oh, more than
because
the sun?
he was saying the sun was good for you.
Oh,
Now, I don't know,
was he all
man.
leathery and he said he was 32?
I couldn't determine his age. He was, somewhere between like 18 and 76, right? But he was, that may be part of it, but he was just, I can't remember his scientific argument. It seemed like there was some merit to it,
Uh-huh.
but I also don't believe it. I mean, there's a,
I found this on the internet.
well, there is, I mean, so I guess I would put it to you this way so sunscreen has existed for how long? 50 years?
Oh my God, no! It's been around ages. My mom used to put on sunscreen when she was a little girl.
Okay,
So
100 years?
I don't. Yeah, something. Well, they
Okay.
used to use different things. They use like coconut oil and stuff like that. So
This is what I'm talking about
yeah.
is there are entire cultures that are out there in the sun all day and they're fine.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how long do they live?
Uh,
Yeah,
well, I mean, they're sort of like trapping fish, and
yeah.
that being said,
But even then, like like you go to Saudi Arabia and people there, yeah, they're in the sun all day long, but they do not they don't dress like we do with shorts and flip flops.
no, 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 there is correct. That yeah, you're like, dude, you are way overdressed for this occasion. I was like, no, you're way underdressed.
You're
Yes,
gonna die.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, again, there are places that have been historically in the sun, not even like completely, dressed out like that. I'm like, these guys seem to be okay.
Yeah.
But then again, I also know this, like, there are parts of, say, Europe that are further away from the equator
Oh yeah.
that the sun doesn't reach as much.
No. Well, England.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, it's warmer than most of America, but it is way further north.
It's weird,
So
isn't it?
it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But like I mean, you talk about a group of people who notoriously tan poorly.
That's sort of what I'm
Yeah,
driving
yeah,
at here. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
is the appropriate pigmentation seem to find their way to that place,
it does. Yeah, yeah.
or it's that or the other way around. I do not know, but that's not for me to determine.
No, yeah.
But yeah, there is a they were adapted to that climate. But yeah, it was sort of something interesting. But again, this is sort of like there's a lot of shit that gets thrown out as like medical fact that I get like halfway into.
Oof. Then you realize it's complete bupkis. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on right now. Well, we'll see. I haven't really checked up on RFKJ lately, see what he's been doing. I think I did hear something that they're doing a ban on like advertising medicines or prescriptions. Is that true?
I think they're working on it.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I don't disagree with that one bit.
No. I did like watching normie TV. I did notice that there is less of that than there used to be. So I don't know why.
Maybe it's a public backlash, but I doubt
Possibly.
it.
I don't know.
I seriously doubt it. The other thing was that I know that RFK fired a lot of people in the department. That doesn't surprise
I
me.
heard about that. I didn't really understand why. It's like okay, it's his department, man. That's what you
Yeah,
get to do.
yeah.
So
So I know that's what happened. I think there's been a slight change to the recommended uh, vaccination schedule,
oh, for kids or
and
for
I
older
think
people.
it's just specifically for kids.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't remember how. It was not something that it wasn't meaningful enough to actually worm its way into like real big news.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, there's been so much of that going on lately, anyway.
there's other stuff going on. That is
He's
true.
going to drown
Yeah,
everything else out for the
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah, especially with the shooting thing. We'll have to see what's going on. Although the whole Luigi story kind of died out on the vine too. It just took a couple weeks. I mean, but this one is kind of like okay, so these like two. I didn't know who they were talking about at first when I was reading the first thing. I was like, wait, where is this? And it was
Yeah,
like, oh, this is our Minnesota. Got
right.
it.
Yeah,
This one, yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, okie dokie.
And they have his
Um,
wife, but they don't have him.
Um, they said he ran away on foot, so they're gonna find him. Um,
Went to his house, didn't find him there. They found.
right, that's right. You go back to. They'll never
Never
find
looking
me
there.
here.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just abandoned my car there.
Right.
They'll never figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they found his wife, um, who was the things in her car were very suspect. If you saw this,
I didn't. Did you have a gun?
yes,
Oh, okay.
she had $50,000 in cash.
That's sus. Yeah, there you go. In cash?
In cash,
Pretty sus. Yeah.
and says that she got it Saturday morning.
When did this happen again?
This happened yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
I think it was
But it
yesterday.
was like at 1 o'clock in the morning or some shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was because that was the thing they were saying that she went to the bank and got $50,000 in cash that day,
Mhm.
which is more or less impossible.
Yeah, that's not, you can, it's like 10,000, right?
Well, no, you can get more,
Yeah.
right? It's just that most banks they have to prepare that
Oh, okay.
because most places won't have. There are places where they won't even have $10,000 in cash on hand.
Hmm.
They have to prepare that ahead of time because yeah, if you hit 10,000, that's when you have to actually fill out the currency
Right,
transaction
yeah.
record, which goes to the feds, as well as if there's anything that looks out of place, you fill out the suspicious activity report.
That's the teller. If you're the bank teller.
Correct.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes in asking for 50,000 in cash, you just don't go around the back and give it to them
Yeah, yeah,
and count it out like on the table. It's like
yeah,
okay, 100,
yeah,
200.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's that, and she had some other shit in there. He had fucking those no King's Day flyers in his car. So it's as far as the like the bend on this, it's insane.
We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to wait. I mean, you cannot trust half the shit that you'll probably hear about it for the next few days until they catch the guy. So which I mean, I don't know. They're better at that than people give them credit for doing.
Well, as right as long as he didn't decide to go ahead and breathe deep on a shotgun.
Well, and he
you
might
know.
have.
Yeah.
He might have.
But if he did, then they're just going to have to put the thumb screws to his wife and get because it looks like they're definitely both in on something.
I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, some of the stories that I was saying is like he was actually an appointee of Tim Walz
He was.
to some stupid labor board that didn't really fucking matter, but he was like a pizza delivery driver.
He had like three like shell companies for nothing.
And they didn't do anything. Yeah, so this is why I started poking into that. I was like, "Fuck it,
It's weird.
he's
Yeah,
just gonna have to
yeah.
wait and see, man. Because like it's just there's too much." And he had all this. There was a
Like
lot of
overseas ministry shit.
yeah, but there was also a lot of anti-abortion shit on there too.
It's
So
wild.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, okay, fine.
but he did
Um,
donate to Act Blue, so it's sort of
okay.
I'm like, I don't know where you stand. This is the newest thing is that one of the people that got blown away voted against, basically broke party ranks, and was supposedly going to come out Republican.
Okay. Which one?
The lady.
But she was the speaker, right, of the House.
I don't think she was the speaker. These were just two people that are on that council or that are on the Congress there.
Well, one of them
The
was the
reps.
senator. The lady was the speaker of the House of Representatives. You don't break ranks if you're the speaker.
I think it was a woman. I'll double check.
Yeah,
I just,
yeah. See, this is why I gotta wait a bit, man. I have no idea. And I heard that they were there with Amy Klobuchar earlier that day.
really?
Yeah, somebody said something about that too. And so it was like, okay.
Huh.
So yeah, was he trying to kill her?
Doesn't seem. I mean,
I don't know.
got he got two, and I think
He got three people.
he wounded the other one. Yeah, he got two.
He killed two people, and then he wounded two others.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he killed the speaker and her husband, and then he wounded the senator who almost died and his wife. So it's shot like what I saw because they showed a picture of their front door. Looks like he just fucking sprayed the front door. So I think that's the one that I saw. Yeah. But then he got like trapped in the neighborhood, abandoned his cop car, and fled into the woods.
This is like I can't believe that. This is, and again, dressed up as a policeman. I mean, it's
Well, and apparently he had this weird, stupid
the
one of
crazy
that fake.
mask. Yeah,
Well, I know what it is. It's one of those fake. I mean, you see those.
yeah,
Like I see that. I don't know why I got into this, but for a while I got into this like YouTube / TikTok thing where people would put on these really realistic looking masks.
yeah.
But the trick about them is they have to be specially made for you, otherwise they
Right.
look goofy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's what he had there. You know,
And it looks like he was wearing it inside out. I mean,
I
it's
don't even know, man. It might just not be an expensive one because some of the ones that I've seen that are pretty expensive, as long as they're fitted for your head shape, they're pretty fucking cool.
well.
So,
When you see at least the shots of it that I've seen,
mhm.
okay, um,
I just saw the Ring camera one.
yeah,
So
and
yeah,
that
you want out?
shit
You want out?
that shit looks like it's
You want out? No.
okay. That shit looks like fucking Michael Myers mask from Halloween.
It kind of does, man.
Like
Yeah.
flipped upside down.
Because no,
Um,
no, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. So you're gonna cook me alive.
well, I'm gonna snuggle with you somehow.
It's okay, but yeah,
She likes you so much.
I know, man. But she's
Those
got
are
to pick
weird.
a side.
I know.
So yeah.
Get that. Hey, hey, hey. All right, now you scooch back.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, it looked like one of those fake ass masks. Now, I have seen the ones. I don't know why people don't use these more. Are they make those ones that are? Oh, sorry. They make these ones that are like, the ones that are like really super tight on your face. The ones
Yeah.
that, yeah, they make those, but they're like colored to look like another person's face.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know why people aren't wearing these. These are
They
fantastic.
might be hard to get. So
That could be one of those things like you go to the store, it's like, I'd like one of these. What do you need it for?
right? Yeah. Halloween. you know,
Right.
I'm trying to fool my boss. Yeah. Time card fraud.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Or you have to order it, that kind of thing. But yeah, I've seen those. I was like, this is crazy.
Mhm.
And yeah, when they show those on, uh, when they catch them on like security cameras from like a little bit of a distance, it's like this is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, like see the thing about it is um, there's still something really uncanny about it.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
can tell someone's kind of up to something. You know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take that much because even so, there's some of the YouTube videos that I watched, this guy's like doing that to try and like fool their mother or something like
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
yeah.
And you can tell when it's not working. You know. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It was the same thing with AI. I saw this whole thing the other day. Where they had this AI rodeo or robot, demonstration with all these humanoid-looking robots, and
Mm.
people were like, "Oh, these are so realistic." But then there's dudes going out like this, to the thing, and it's not really reacting and stuff, and so it's just like, yeah, I get it. It looks like a girl, and obviously this is going to be somebody's sex toy in the future. I get that. Okay, but still, at the same point in time, that is clearly not human. I mean, it is patently clear that it's not human. So, and I mean, even then, it's about 1,000 times better than the stuff you saw like 10 years ago.
Oh,
Okay,
yes, yes,
but it's
absolutely. Yeah.
still, it's like there's just something about it that you start to realize after a little while, they're never really going to pull that off.
No,
Yeah,
it's like we talked about there, where it's that middle 80%, right?
exactly.
They've cleared the middle 80%. Now
Yeah,
they're at the top 10%,
and
and
it's
each step is exponentially
way
harder.
too hard. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm starting to feel that AI is going to fall into the same thing, man.
I'm absolutely certain of
Yeah,
it. The more I work with it, yeah.
exactly. I've been working with it a lot the last couple of weeks, and I did a lot on it this week. And it is just there is nothing in AI that can serve as some kind of certitude, in terms of like, no, this is the way it is. And you say, well, I want you to change that a little bit. It's like, okay, it doesn't tell you no.
Which, okay, yeah, I got you.
Until it can do that, man, it can't actually make decisions for itself. So, and that's the thing about it that I'm starting to realize the deeper that I'm poking into it. It will absolutely let you spool out as much line as you want.
Yes,
So, and
yes,
I don't think there's any fixing that because that's the nature of how some of those algorithms are built. Especially the LLMs. It's all based upon that.
yeah.
And so it's like, well, that's actually a fundamental, like this is the frame of the car kind of thing. So I mean, we don't have a truck without this.
No, no, yeah, no, this is, you're absolutely right. And when this is not to say that you're just looking for the random human element, because that's not true. And
Right.
I think that humans are actually far less random than people think, right?
Generally, yeah.
There was it was the thing they used to say, like when you're playing fighting games, it said every seventh move do something random,
It's hard to do,
right?
but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not just that it's hard to do; it's also, well, you do this every seven times,
So it's not random by its nature. It's not random.
right?
Right.
And on top of that, people don't really randomize themselves very much,
No, in fact,
right?
people are horrible actually. So there's like there's a thing. So there's this programming guy that I watch, and I don't know how much further I'm going to get into programming. To tell you the truth, man, I'm starting to hit a little bit of so the difficulty curve over like the last week's lessons has gone like this. So
What's the slope? What the hell is the?
it's all has to do with arrays and learning new like sequences and it's just for a while I was cruising and I was even getting a lot of the pseudocode down on it, but this last week I started to hit that. It was like I can't follow the math now. So it's the math itself that doesn't make sense. So and it's like it's going to take a lot more practice. So we'll see. But anyway, but
I'll ask you more about
I
it.
hit the hard part.
No, I think that's very interesting.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, the same thing's true with like some of these other, like, the, where was I going with that?
Well, we were talking about a different section of AI here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced that we're ever going to, at least not for the foreseeable future, that we're going to have human-like AI, whatever they call it. They've been calling it like AGI or whatever it is, or,
Yeah.
yeah. What is that? Advanced general intelligence or whatever it is.
I think you're right.
Something like that. I just don't see it, man, because especially getting familiar, and you're more familiar with it than I am, but I've been poking at it quite a bit lately. and I'm starting to realize that it's actually exceptionally manipulable.
Yes.
Yeah, and that doesn't help a lot of people. And then I see a lot of people who are posting it like it's like fucking gospel, and it's like you're an idiot.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
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 And then there's like so many things that even just on TikTok videos, it's like Cthulhu is fake. All right, so this might be a
Right.
real cruise ship, but that is not. That's not real. You know?
So there are things that they're doing with it that are absolutely genius. There are things that,
Yeah.
especially in the arts, that are absolutely genius within the writing sphere. And this is where um, there's a couple of parts of this where like you guys are fucking cooked, right?
Mhm.
You know, you guys spent money on this, but you wasted it because there's you have people. So you take an audio clip,
Yeah.
right, and they're doing this all the time,
Hmm.
right, all the time. Tons of this going on here where um, you're going to say a line and you're going to say it with an inflection and you're going to say it a certain way, right? No particular way, you choose it, right? It's me as a person basically coming up with the descriptors
Hmm.
to explain how that voice sounds,
Right.
right? I'm going to explain the way that your voice sounds. I'm going to explain the way you said the things that you did,
Hmm.
and the basically the intonation, the grammatical style of these things here.
Hmm.
I'm going to describe that with the language as so many descriptors in it, right?
Yeah.
That I'm going to do it completely different from this guy, right?
Hmm.
Who may be using descriptors that are wrong,
Hmm.
right? And you're doing it with this thing of like, okay, you have to do how many of these per minute,
Right.
right? And you expect people to be accurate. And on top of that, a lot of people to make that distinction. What do? They ask AI to basically analyze the file.
Right.
And so much like the baby alive, where you put the food in its mouth and then take the waste and feed it right back to it, right?
It's butt to mouth syndrome.
That
We've
is
talked
correct.
about it. Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And so yeah, if you have this, human centipede of like AI, right?
Yeah.
It becomes eventually so circuitous and bombastic and fucking florid and never gets to the goddamn point,
No.
right? And just the way it, there was something that I had a fucking fight with AI about,
Uh-huh.
right? I asked the goddamn thing. I was so specific. It was about music. It was about video game music.
Uh-huh.
And I was asking it because I was trying to compile a little list of songs that are ripoffs of actual songs,
Right.
right? I know where there's a ton of them. And specifically, it's like, I'm not asking for sounds like, I am talking about actually rips off
Yeah.
pieces
Yeah.
from other things.
Yeah.
It struggled with that so
Yeah.
hard, right? And so there were things where I would give it the example, and then it would say like, "Oh yeah, that's right. This is a note for note reconstruction of the Mob Rules by Black Sabbath."
Right.
Like, yeah, why did I have to tell you that?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it would say, I'm sorry, I missed that one. I'm like, yeah, you are sorry.
You scold it.
Yeah, I'm like, fucking ridiculous. I'm
Which
like,
one are you using?
that one I was using Grok.
Yeah. I find Grok to be a little bit more flexible than some of the other ones. The one thing that I got really frustrated with it was photo editing. I was trying that the other day, using it
Oh,
to do some photo editing
yeah,
because you get unlimited photos on that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Man, that motherfucker kept changing my shit. So
It's weird.
every time I was like, wait a minute, use the last one, but just make it a little bit, softer in tone. And it would change the whole fucking thing again.
Yep,
I'm like, no,
yep.
use the exact same photo. Okay, just make it lighter in tone, and this was like a sepia tone kind of thing. And so this should have been really easy. Like I could do it in a filter in Canva in like 2 seconds.
Right,
Okay, but
right.
I was just like, fuck it, let's see if I can get this thing to do it. And it would not do it. It would change the characters in the background. It would change, the foreground composition just slightly. And same thing, like I had this picture of a ship that I was trying. I was like, color this image. It's black and white image.
Yes,
Color this image.
yes.
Did it beautifully, but then reconfigured everything on the ship. I was like, no, 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 no. Use the exact same ship, okay? And then, then it would make up a whole thing out of cloth. All right, and it would get the colors exactly how I wanted them. Okay, but it would completely jack up the composition. And so it
Yeah.
was like, man, okay, so this just isn't where it needs to be, on some of this stuff because I could go into like Canva again and colorize this just using a couple filters fairly quickly,
Yes. Yes.
and those are really see that's one thing I did learn how to program. It was called color filters. They're easy,
Oh, okay. That's
yeah,
cool.
they're really
Yeah.
easy to do. Okay, because you're only dealing with three colors, so red, green, blue. So and that's it.
And that right
So
there, I can tell you how some of those problems are happening,
yeah.
right? Because you're going to have people that are basically giving data annotation
Oh,
to photos, right?
right.
Now, hold on to this here for a second, okay? So when you asked it to change the tone,
Uh-huh.
right, you were talking about the actual color, the saturation, the actual,
Exactly.
right.
Yes.
One of the descriptors is going to be what is the tone of the
Oh,
content
I get it.
of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And so
Dark and moody.
if you say to soften the tone of this photo,
Yeah.
right? It could say like, oh, okay, well, you got this like World War II thing going on here, so why don't I put in a few more like picnic baskets and
It's
shit?
springtime
Like,
for Hitler.
yeah, uh, right.
Yeah.
And the thing there is that's where it sort of fails like on a human level
Right.
because a human would say tone how,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
or
Exactly.
after you did it once and you said, no, man, we want beef to eat, right? This, this is this is that's where it sort of absolutely fails on a human level, and again that comes from the way that it's designed to give answers is you rate this and you say is it complete, is it answering the main part of the question, is it giving a little bit of additional information that they didn't ask for,
Hmm.
and that's a perfect answer,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That you give it a 5,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then you feed that into the baby alive one more time and you see what it does and it
It
cranks it out.
looks like peas, but it's not. You know?
Yes, and that's where you are right now saying, just lighten the goddamn picture. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Yeah, I know. I know.
No, it is. I mean, you see its limitations fairly quickly if you try to get it to do something specific. Um, like very, very specific, like in a photograph. So like, no, change that flag, kind of thing. It's
Yes.
pretty good at that. So, and I'll identify that, it'll be like,
Right.
okay. But if you
Right.
if you give it, something that can have a double meaning like that, then it gets really fucked up. And so it's okay. I mean, it was just interesting playing with it a little bit because I had a work reason to do so.
Yeah.
And so when you actually have like a condition set that you're given up front,
Yeah.
okay, where you have a standard and an expectation rather than just playing with it for funsies, kind of thing,
Yeah.
you see how limited it is fairly quickly, because it's like, no, that's not good enough for my boss. So yeah, yeah,
You know what? And there are some things in there where you come to appreciate. There are some things where you can get it to do like 87 or 90% of the heavy lifting, and that's great. Like if you say
oh
like,
yeah,
hey, do me a favor, like take this information. It's like, yeah, this, like write me a cover letter
yeah,
with this, and it'll frame it. And again, you
yep.
get to like, all right, I got to change this, and this here, but you saved me from doing all this superfluous bullshit. And I'm
Oh,
like, that's great. That's
dude, I've
great.
been feeding it PDFs and then
Yeah.
like, hey, summarize this for me, and it's just great.
The
So
summaries are good. I think the summarization that is of the things that it does well. I think it is
it does
fantastic.
an exceptional job at that.
It has done a really wonderful job supplementing like my lessons because I have certain like questions about the way things sort of
Oh, like
conjugate
Japanese,
between
yeah.
English and Japanese, and I'd ask it why,
Yeah.
right? Oh, that was the other one I flew off the fucking handle on, and I fucking yelled at it for like 30 minutes. Was I was trying to come up with sentences, right?
Mm,
So, mnemonic sentences that you can use as sort of remembering this stuff.
okay.
I asked Grok to do this for me,
Hmm.
right? And I asked it to do it in English,
Yeah.
right? I would then place the Japanese word in there when I wrote it down.
Okay.
And I said, do you create a sentence with this where it's either like a famous quotation or a song lyric that uses the word ease,
Okay.
right? Now, it would then change it to easily. I said,
Oh,
I didn't ask you to change it to easily. I said, use the word ease and not a variation of it.
yeah.
It then said, like, it gave me another one, change it again.
To easily?
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, stop doing that. I didn't ask you for this. And it could not come up with one.
Hmm.
And then I said, so why aren't you actually choosing the man on the flying trapeze?
Yeah.
And it says, oh, you know what? It does use that actual word directly.
It just
You're
agrees
right.
with you.
You're right. It does use that word. It's doing that. And I don't give this bullshit answer about, like, I'm programmed to do this, 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 and this, this, and
Yeah.
that's why I didn't look this. It's not a recent example. Most people actually would prefer something. I was like, I didn't ask you for a
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
preamble.
Yeah. See, and this is, I'm not, like, after poking with the last couple weeks, I'm not as concerned about AI actually, taking a whole shitload of jobs out of the U.S. economy anymore and stuff like that. I mean, if anything, it'll actually just ramp up productivity
It
across the board.
absolutely will.
Yeah,
Like, think this is so. If you've seen, especially like with animation, it is from this time last year. It's a
a
hundred
hundred
times
years.
better,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
right?
Just wait till where it's going to be in another year, man. I mean, I see full blown, edited YouTube videos that are, I mean, 100% AI generated, and they're great.
Right.
I mean, they're narrated, they're scripted, and then
Mm-hmm.
they're like, I mean, some of the presentations that I saw this week, they were all AI generated. They're fantastic,
It's wild.
and
Yeah.
they look really professional and really good. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is an excellent use case for this. All right, because rather than me spending fucking 40 hours piecing together 1,000 different clips from Shutterstock to create a 7-minute video,
Yes.
on a complex
Yes.
topic, you were able to script, narrate, and illustrate this entire presentation in video format and condense what should be about 40 minutes of material down to about 7. In a way that
One
is
person.
one person
Yes.
and a couple keystrokes did that. And I
Right.
was like, that is productivity right there. Okay. Yeah.
100%. And
And it's not threatening that dude's job.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It is something that by increasing the productivity gives people new and more creative outlets than
Correct.
ever before.
Yes.
Right. And more access to it.
Yes.
And that actually increases jobs.
Yeah.
Right. Now, something I haven't seen people doing it yet. I'm looking forward to it because it seems like those are the perfect kind of applications to make videos about. You know, the ones that we used to work about, this is why you can't check gasoline on a plane. uh,
Sir, this is in Tupperware.
like, I think those would be perfect for those kind of like educational videos.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
they have a couple of those, but people like actually animate them where it's like, this is how you don't change the rotating head on like a lathe or something like
Right,
that.
yeah, exactly.
I think these would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people like even Mark Cuban fucking fired off about this. He actually said this about Blue Sky. He said everybody's leaving because um, what did he say? He says like there seems to be less racism here, but there's just as much, if not more, hatred. And he said, mention AI, and there's like this yeah, yeah. He's just goes through this list, and he's like, seen it, heard it all, and
My
you guys are
daughter's
just
like
as
that.
mad.
I don't
Yeah,
quite get that. My daughter's really, she refuses to use anything with AI. She said, I'll never use ChatGPT, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't understand the animosity towards it, you know? I mean, is it just,
there's a crowd of people that fucking
is it
hate
the
it right
pay
now.
the artist thing kind of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I guess so, but it's like, okay, so if I'm an artist and if I can work on 9 projects at once rather than one project at a time, I mean, you're just way increasing your productivity as an artist at that point in time, meaning that you're going to get paid more.
Well, you're gonna get paid more. But again, the other thing I would say on this here, and this is the part I haven't seen a valid argument against. I said, okay, so let me get this straight. Okay, if I'm an amputee
Right.
and I can voice into this
Oh
and it will
yeah.
generate this for me. Are you going to tell me that you're going to take that away from the person and say they're not creative art?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, okay, so there's a few people out there I can see like sign language interpreters being like, you know,
Yeah.
you dropped the camera on the chopping block, so.
That's true. It's like,
And the same thing will be true with like interpreters. So between languages, it's
that's,
not there yet, but it's coming. So there are a couple places that you probably don't necessarily want to be there unless you figure out how to use it more efficiently.
and there are a
You
few
know,
apps that are pretty close.
there are, yeah.
They're not perfect, but enough to be like, I get what you're
You
saying.
can get around town,
Right.
with them, yeah.
Right.
So I mean, people have been doing that with what is it, Google Speak or whatever it is,
Yeah.
for years. Speech,
Translate too. I think
translate. Yeah, you're right. It's
yeah.
just called translate. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things. It's kind of like, okay, you got to think about like, okay, I mean, if you're going to spend an hour hand drawing a particular character for a video game, and then have to pass it on to another artist who has to spend hundreds of hours animating it,
Right.
where you guys could create hundreds of characters in a few minutes.
Right.
I mean, it's just going to make like just video games in general way better, in some respects. And then, I mean, there'll be more work. So,
And this is where, and there has been a recent lawsuit, and I don't think this is going to go anywhere because there's that the argument they have is about like copyrighted material, right? And I get that, and
yeah.
there's a component to that I can understand, but there's this component where you say, okay, so if you're going this route, right? Because if you're going to say like they've established this kind of shit for like if you're going to do a Lion King cake at Safeway,
Mhm.
you can't do that, right? Because you're selling it.
Sell it.
Selling
You're
it, right?
putting it in a box
Right?
and selling
Right?
it.
So I get that. Okay. And I understand that. But, so if somebody does this for their own amusement, right?
Right.
They're like, okay, but you can't have this generate anything. It's like, actually, well, here's the problem. That means that a person right now can't draw a picture of Spider-Man himself
Yeah.
because that's your copyright. He didn't sell it, right?
Yeah, oh man, it's going to be not too long, but it might take a little time. But you can definitely see how that's heading towards the courts eventually. So
Absolutely. And
you know,
the courts, the problem with the courts is they are always one full generation behind on understanding the issue that they rule on.
it does take that long to figure it out. So
Yeah.
it really does. And then but the process has its own merits too because it does force people to conform to certain things. And
This is
so
true.
like if the court rules on it this way, it's like, okay, fine. It might not be the best ruling, but at least that's the ruling. Okay, and so those are the
Right.
rules right now.
Right.
Okay, does it create inefficiencies here and there? Sure, and does it, result in perfect solutions? No.
But
But
what
it's
is?
better than when we're all fighting about it all
Right.
the time,
Right.
and people just making shit up as they go. And that's definitely true with like, like everything that's going on this fall.
Yeah.
Not this fall, but this June session that the court should be chewing through fairly quickly here.
There's a lot of stuff to rule on. But yeah,
I don't know if they're going to get through all of it. I'd be really surprised if they get through all of it. So there's a bunch of that shit on there we probably won't hear about until October. So because then we'll have to wait for the next session. So I mean, there's only 9 of them, man. They can only do so much. So and like okay, they'll pick out the ones that are important, or at least the ones that they feel are important to rule on right now.
yeah, yeah, and I do understand that. Um, it's going to be a weird one, but yeah, that specific thing with like copyright on that. Yeah, it's weird because take it to the next step here too, right? Is um, people will be composing songs with this,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
People will be
They'll be
composing
making
songs.
movies with it before
Yes,
we know it.
yes,
I've seen dozens of shorts created on YouTube, just animated from whole cloth.
it's wild.
And so it's only a matter of time. I mean, so the other thing that they were actually talking about this at the conference that I went to a little bit, just people who are interested in AI. I didn't realize the power grid thing is actually a really big fucking deal.
It's a huge.
I didn't
fucking
realize
deal.
that. Yeah, and so I mean, it's like okay, so thus the push for these little micro nuclear reactors. Got it. So Okay, this makes sense now.
Well, yeah, that where a component of most of these new centers is that they have to be adding to the power grid in some way. Where it's like, okay, so we're going to build this, but
Yeah,
that 60 miles of land will be covered
the
with
solar
solar
panels. Yeah,
panels, right?
yeah,
So we're not just going to be taking from the city
yeah,
because I mean, if I recall, that was one of the big like California problems was prioritizing electricity.
yeah. Well, California is just a weird place, man.
Yeah, you know what? That's
It's just
right, and
its
I'm
own thing,
sorry.
man.
I
You
apologize.
know,
I didn't mean to bring that
but like, I mean, the amount of like solar panels they put in and windmills they put up in Texas is impressive. So it can be done. But California is like, no, we don't want to. It'll affect the jumping mouse. Kind of thing. Okay.
You ever think that God wants them to be dead?
Right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah. Oh well.
No, I got you. I got you. It's again, I love it. I mean, it's just when it gets to that part where one of the things that I absolutely miss more than anything is hand drawn animation, right?
Yeah, I
I
know.
love that, right? And so if you can like the things that are super expensive that take away from that,
Mm.
okay, if you can go out there and be the keyframe animator, right?
Yeah.
And say, do you see my style? It's like, yes. Okay, so I've drawn every third frame. Can you fill in
Oh, I can totally do that.
the missing frames in my
Yeah, I
style?
can totally do that.
It's like you got it,
Yeah,
boss.
you got
It's like
it.
you remember this thing that took like 500 people at Disney 9 hours and like 2 packs of cigarettes a day to do?
4 fucking years. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can retain that heart and style.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, man, that's really cool.
It's not hard to find hand drawn animation, man. It's just it's not easy to find. I mean, it's just not commercially viable.
No, no,
Okay, but
no,
I mean, you can
no.
find. I mean, because I've seen channels out there dedicated to that shit. It's great. But I mean, it's on YouTube now, and
Yeah,
so you're not going to get a full theatric release in hand drawn animation. Don, aka Don Blue style, but
right.
you can certainly find that on YouTube. And if AI, like you said, will let you fill in every, I mean, shit, you probably do every 3 or 4 frames. You
You can
know,
animate everything on the one,
you could,
which
yeah,
is
you
crazy.
could, I mean, you still probably have to storyboard it out.
So
Like you're
absolutely,
doing it scene by
you're
scene,
you have to base it. That's what I'm saying. You still have to draw the keyframes,
right?
right? Because that's where it's going to lose. I mean, jank is jank,
Well,
right?
and Jank's gonna happen,
Right.
so
But you can fix that, and
yeah,
that's
but you,
that's that's actually what I'm really looking forward to.
oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, the number one streamer on Twitch is fucking AI. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
AI is playing games.
yeah, it's an AI VTuber.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and she just makes fun of shit all day long.
Probably very good at it too.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
So
This world is full of weird shit, Pat.
I know, man.
I
So
kind of like it.
yeah, it's kind of cool, man. It is kind of cool. So, but I don't just don't see I don't see the need for all the fear. So I don't get it right now, man.
Well, I
I
mean,
just don't see the need for the fear. So
every generation needs their fucking, Judas Priest and Dungeons and Dragons.
that's right. Yeah, exactly.
This is
It's the Rage of Blades and Apples.
yeah, this is boomer Dungeons and Dragons, dude.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome back, dude.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.
Yeah.